Mr. Yip Hon Weng.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, children in their early and formative years require nurturing care and support. A safe and happy childhood leads to lifelong and intergenerational benefits for health, productivity, and mental wellness. This stems from my personal experience being a father of 5 kids. The sad reality is that not all families are equipped or able to care for their children. This is notwithstanding how much they want to. Some children struggle through challenging family circumstances. These situations may be present at the time of birth or come into being during their childhood years. For these kids, adoption may be the best option for them to lead a normal and healthy childhood. This bill is timely, given the sharp rise in child abuse cases within the past 2 years. Personally, I believe the overriding principle for adoption is to provide them with psychological safety, as well as the caring and supportive environment that they need. I have a few clarifications on the bill. First, Mr. Deputy Speaker, will all the changes to child adoption laws apply to foreign adoptees where the adopting family is based in Singapore? Second, Mr. Deputy Speaker, what are some exceptional circumstances that may permit adoption by a person who has been convicted of serious crimes? I support the decision to prevent persons convicted of serious crimes from adopting. That said, I also believe in second chances. I trust the effectiveness of our prison rehabilitation programs. Thus, I believe that the current position is the right balance between caution and giving second chances. How does the ministry decide on the time bar duration? Also, how does the ministry determine whether the person has been adequately reformed to be capable of providing care to a vulnerable child? Will this restriction, based on the conviction of serious crimes, also apply to the immediate family members of the adopting couple? These would be people who also live with or spend significant amounts of time in the company of the adopted child. If the applicant or said family members committed serious crimes abroad, will they also be subject to the same restrictions? Third, Mr. Deputy Speaker, I support the amendment that seeks to provide more clarity on circumstances where consent from the birth parents can be dispensed with if it is in the child's welfare. However, there may sometimes be compatibility issues between the adopting family and the adopted child. What intervention and support measures will the ministry provide to the family and their adopted child if these issues occur? Quite often, this may happen when the parents adopt a special needs child or one with some baggage, but underestimate the efforts and resources required to bring him or her up. I know of a couple who adopted a child with special needs from the Philippines. Caring for the child is not easy, and I applaud the couple's efforts in providing a safe and loving home for him. Other than briefing the potential parents with regards to the potential needs of the child, will the ministry consider providing greater support to parents willing to care for such children? This is to hopefully prevent the need for the court to make an order against the adopting parents for the child's welfare. The bill stipulates for prospective adoptive parents to attend a compulsory pre-adoption briefing, where they learn more about the adoption process and related issues before they can apply to adopt. Is such a briefing adequate? Should there be a more extensive preparation course and follow-up? Are there mandatory health checkups and mental health assessments for the adoptees before an adoption procedure is finalized? Moreover, what if the adopted child is unable to get along with the rest of the siblings and other family members? Will the ministry encourage adoptive parents and their families, where practical, to participate in respite fostering activities if they seem unsure about adoption? In this way, the family can gauge whether they really have what it takes to welcome someone new into their families. This should not be a test, but it could be an avenue for families to determine their readiness. I would suggest that part of the adoption process should include training or conversations with adopting parents and their families to aid them with such decisions. The discussions should cover the sibling relationship issues. In this way, These conversations can be a whole family affair. Fourth, Mr. Deputy Speaker, does the ministry intend to actively raise awareness and encourage adoption of children who have been under state care? According to a news report, there are fewer than 10 applications for children in state care out of about 400 adoption applications filed in Singapore yearly. How does this figure compare to the number of children who are under state care? What is the percentage in state care who have been identified for adoption? What are the criteria for these children to be deemed suitable for adoption? I support the amendments to ensure that adoption agencies publish their fees in a transparent manner and charge only permitted payments. Where advertising adoptees with identifying information is understandably prohibited, perhaps a generic awareness campaign on local child adoption could help to shed more light on the values and realities of child adoption. In conclusion, Mr. Deputy Speaker, a well-matched adoption can be a potentially life-changing and life-saving experience for the adopted child. With the new laws, I believe that Singapore will be a safer place for vulnerable children. Singapore will also benefit from a new generation of children who would have otherwise fallen by the wayside. Adoption is ultimately an act of kindness. In my maiden speech in this Parliament during the debate of the President's address 1.5 years ago, I spoke about how we can be richer as a nation if we help each other. We are just emerging from the COVID crisis. Over the last 2 years, the government has done much to help fellow Singaporeans to save jobs and to provide emergency support for workers and their companies. But there's other help that is needed. We need the community to come together and to care for those who may be less fortunate and may be in need of a loving home and loving relationships. In helping those in need, such as children who struggle through challenging family circumstances, we leverage on our various strengths and abilities to create a stronger social impact. There's great value for us to do more for each other. Natural families already have many obstacles to overcome to achieve stability and to provide a safe and comfortable environment for children to thrive and grow. I imagine that adoptive parents would face even more challenges. Let us help in every way we can to make every match between adoptees and adopters a success. Lastly, I would like to express my admiration and appreciation for the Singaporeans who have adopted children. Dedicating resources, energy, and giving of your lives to a child outside your natural family is undoubtedly one of the most selfless acts of humanity. I support the bill.